Welcome, viewers. My name is Nasiru Abdullateef on Nice TV Africa, an online mentorship platform for Africa youth and a catalyst for Africa greatness. We're still on the same matter, Nigeria at 60, after independence. We have in our midst, we have the honor and the privilege to have in our midst Mr. Adebowale Adedeji, a veteran journalist, brand custodian, and a broadcaster of over 30 years experience. We are honored to have you, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Very well. Yes, sir. Thank you. Sir, let's get to the business. Africans, Nigerians, they would like to meet you, have an insight into your background, educational background, and the upbringing. Being part of the people that started Nigeria.
Thanks for this honor. First, I need to congratulate you on this enterprise, Nice TV. I pray to God Almighty to continue to allow the TV to soar and progress. Amen. I started my working career as a journalist with the Guardian newspaper.
Wow.
And from there I moved on into integrated marketing communication, what everybody regards as advertising, before graduating into branding. And in my later years I now moved into broadcasting. So I have a combination of three professions in one. I started as a print journalist, then moved into integrated marketing communications because I worked in advertising agency before now moving into broadcasting.
Yes.
And I have, beside working experience, I have certifications to back the three professions that and I have about I don't like mentioning the years.
Wow.
But of course, post qualification since 1986 I've started this business.
Wow.
Thanks.
And as a general manager,
immediate past general manager of Kwara State Broadcasting Corporation,
over 10 years. Wow.
Thank God.
Yeah, happy to have you now, Miss. Now,
thank you.
With what you've just said, a journalist, brand specialist, and a PR professional, what were the roles of all these professions, especially media, during the independence of Nigeria in 1960?
Well, basically the function of media, put simply, is to mold opinions positively or negatively. Right. So essentially, what are the narratives that was on as at that time? We wanted independence, and so the narration around that period was that we want independence at all costs, because we knew the benefits of being a liberated or a republican state. So essentially the role of media was to enlighten people, educate people, let them see the benefits of having the independence. So those were the roles that media played, essentially, to shape people's opinion and to encourage them to have a buy-in into the essence of having an independent nation.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Into having an independent nation, and they played roles, they changed narrative, they mold opinions. And for British will have given us the independence because the media played their role of molding the opinion. It simply means that the narratives were positive. At that point, I'm going somewhere.
Okay.
That means the media were able to play their role effectively to the point that the British began to believe that, oh, fine, this country is ready to take independence. With an benefit of insight, can you say the narrative churned out in 1960, are we living up to it? By the kind of things we read in the media nowadays, security, corruption, leadership problem and the stuff. Thank you.
Permit me to digress a bit. The independence wasn't taken on a platter of gold. That's the truth, because it was a struggle. And usually when there's struggle, in fact, once there's a liberation, definitely there has to be struggle. But eventually we got it. Now, when we got it, the responsibility to move the nation forward fell into the hands, into the geopolitical makeup that Nigeria found itself. The north, the south, and the west. Right? So for the south, you have, for the west, you have Obafemi Awolowo. For the north, you have Sardauna. And for the south or east, they have Nnamdi Azikiwe. They are the young intellectuals that started the process of a republican state for Nigeria before the military incursion. We started having hiccups with the military incursion, whereby the vision that we had, we were unable to pursue it effectively. Usually, once you have a military interregnum, they tell you are truncating a process. And once that process is truncated, of course, it will slow us down. So all the military interest that we've had over the years seems to have stagnated the progress of Nigeria. And that's why today, those nations that were peers as at the time of independence that did not have the kind of experience that Nigeria had seems to be ahead of us. So if you want to talk about those specific narratives that has held us down, corruption, ethnicity, all these issues that seems to have slowed the progress. Insecurity will come because there's corruption. That's the truth. So the truth about the matter is we were unable to manage the initial euphoria of being an independent nation. So those were the basic hiccups. I don't want to go into specific details, but the truth about the matter is, do we want to say that the incursion of military has helped in building a nation state for us? We know where we are today. The constitution we're operating today was given to us by a military regime, and that is why we have several hiccups in our developmental process. And until these issues are specifically dealt with, there is no way we will have a smooth progression in terms of development. And that's why the issue of sovereign national conference that we must have, we really must sit down and discuss these issues. They are not issues that will bicker or kill ourselves over. They are simply home truth. These are my resources. How do I want to share it? It's a right. And until we get to that level, there is no way what we call Nigeria today will have the kind of monumental progress that we expect. It will be very difficult.
All right. Well, thank you very much. So, technically, by my own understanding, what you have just said is that, okay, fine. The press, the media played their role, shot out positive narratives for British to believe that, okay, fine, this set of people are ready to take independence. And by military incursion, they suspended the right of media. By suspending the right of media as a matter of right of expression, the media became reactive and they started bringing out all the negative things about military. And by implication, bringing out anything about military leadership is about bringing about the negative of Nigeria as a nation. So, we have been in democracy in the last 20 years. And the military incursion has since left us. Yet, our image out there is still battered as a manner of waste. What has been the role of media since 1999? Since the time military have left us? I'm sure we don't have reason to blame the military anymore. Why are we still having the problem? Okay, fine. Let me put it succinctly. What I have in mind. I don't want us to get confused there. What I'm trying to say here is that why is it that the military, is it that the media, they are just being factual? Maybe the ethics of media is to say it the way it is, which by implication it can affect the image of their nation, or their job is to embellish the image so that it can be acceptable to the world. I mean, what are the media be doing? Because at a point in time, people begin to see media as accomplice in the battering of Nigeria image.
I think we need to get this narration straight.
Very well, sir.
The responsibility of any media,
all right, sir,
is to report the situation as it is.
All right.
Right. Now, in reporting situations as they are, there are what we call tenets of responsibility. There are some truths that you must say that you know is harmful. Must you say it? But just like I said, the role of a media is to tell this, is to report situation, tell the truth the way they are. But in telling those truths the way they are, you must also be responsible in making those reports. Let me give you an analogy.
All right, sir.
Yes, once you have military regimes, they gag the press. Of course, why do they need to gag the press if they know that what they are doing is right?
Oh, yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Now, in a constitutional democracy, there's freedom of expression. To the extent that that freedom of expression does not harm the next person. So there's responsibility even in that expression of your freedom. You know, so by and large, the role of a media is to mold positive opinion about the situation they are reporting on. Now, you're talking about perception that Nigeria has. Perception could be reality, it's a fact. But the truth about the matter is, are we responsible enough to bring out those narrations that put us in good stead to the public? You may want to blame the media to the extent that they also want to sell either their publication or their media. But in truth, there is a collective responsibility to project those things that are right about us. There are so many beautiful narrations about Nigeria.
Yeah,
why are we not talking about them?
Why?
So you can, to some extent, also blame media for not pushing out those right narratives. But just like I said, it's a collective responsibility. And as an aside, as we're coming on to the stage, you were asking me the love I have for my country. Yeah. But does my country love me? Because it has to be mutual. That's the truth. If I say, does my country love me? Okay. What are the rules and regulations that allow exactly a social contract between I and my state? So it's a collective progression. We as a people collectively must resolve that we want to project Nigeria as a strong and virile nation, devoid of all negativities. And let's be very honest, which country in this world don't we have elements of corrupt citizens? There is nowhere.
Okay.
I've been fortunate to have traveled far and wide. The so-called America that we glamorize, there's corruption even amongst our politicians. You want to talk about the Middle East, okay, or you want to talk about Europe, or you want to talk about Asia? There's the kind of regulations that you put in place that checks the excesses of those who are in power. Just like in Asia, we criticize Asia so much that they are backward, there's death sentencing, but the truth about the matter is they obey rules and regulation. Because you know the consequence of being corrupt, they will kill you. But in Nigeria here or in Europe, they will tell you spend 50 years in there, and if you have the right lawyers, you won't spend 1 day behind the bars. Wow. So are we encouraging such around this crime? As long as there is no punitive measure for committing offense, definitely people will always want to.
As long as there's no punitive measure for correcting all these ills, definitely the country will not move forward. Thank you very much. I think at this point in time, I'd like to ask this question before we move to the audience. Nigeria is celebrating 60 years anniversary. 10 years ago, we celebrated 50 years. And we are so hopeful that, wow, with democracy, everything is going to be right. And today, we are still talking about the same thing we talked about even during military era. Is there any particular role Nigeria media will play? Take one as the first question. The second question is been going around. Everybody is a rumor that when you're arguing in some quarters, they say it is international media that is bastardizing our image, that we are not that bad. That that we have the best of practice, that we are good people, but the international media, they are the one deliberately putting us down in order not to manifest our greatness. Nigeria, Africa, what do you say to this?
I'll answer the question in two steps. First, you are talking about what is holding us down as a nation.
Very well.
We know what is holding us down as a nation. As it is, the federating units are not being regulated the way they are. We call ourselves a federation. Are we? We're not truly federal. That's the truth. We are practicing a unitary form of government. And until we come to address that fundamentals, there is no way, quote me, there is no way we'll be talking about progress. In the next 10 years, that will be celebrating 70. By the grace of God, we'll be alive to come and talk here.
Amen.
We'll tell you, if we don't change our constitutional democracy, there is no way we can have that kind of quantum leap. Then too, in terms of international media, it is the way you project yourself that people will project you. That's the truth. I keep telling people, if you dress like a 419, they will address you as a 419. He dressed as a senator. He's conferring respect on himself. That's the way it is. Perception is reality. It is the narration we want people to talk about us is what we should project.
Okay. Yeah.
What do we want to be known for as a people? We've not addressed that issue. What do we want to know for? What do we want to be known for as a nation? We cannot just say we are great. Great on what?
Good people, great nation. That's what we want to be known for. So international conspiracy angle. What do you say to that?
That's what I'm telling you. It is what you want people to say about you, they will say.
Okay.
As long as you are doing what is right, no matter the negatives they push about you, the positives that you exude will cover that.
That's the point. As long as you are doing the right thing, no matter the negativity, the positive will always come out. Thank you very much. We really appreciate this so far. Before we round up, we like to throw a question back to the audience, and they will have one or two things to ask you. These are African youth that are actually looking up to people like you in order to shape their perception about their country and then manifest their potential and their greatness in general. So, audience, up to you now. What's the question doing? Okay. Let me see.
Good afternoon, my lovely people. The presenter of NAS TV and my able guest. I really like your lovely presentation. My question goes thus: like, there is a popular adage that goes like, there is people do say there is a freedom before speech and there is no freedom after speech. So there are a lot of people that do have a lot to say but are afraid of the aftermath of the arts. So I'm just like what are the roles of the media in helping to promote, like to build confidence in such people, like to say their mind without having any have to feel back or something after their words? So I would like to shed more light on that question, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's the question. Freedom before speech and lack of freedom after speech. What is the role media is playing to build the confidence to hear your voice?
Well, just like I said, under constitutional democracy, you have freedom of speech, right? But you must exercise that freedom responsibly. There is no reason why you cannot criticize, but you criticize or you critique with responsibility, right? And it's a thin divide between criticism and defamation. So in criticizing, you must know your facts. If you are criticizing wrongly, it can backfire. And that's why they say there's responsibility to your freedom. You are free to say whatever you want to say in a responsible manner, because it's a collective right that we have. And the role of media will always accentuate that. There is nowhere under constitutional democracy where you can gag the media. The media will exercise their rights. And that's why the medium is there, both print and electronic. It's there for you to use.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon to the presenter and to the amiable guest. My question is, due to the damage done by the hush puppy scandal to tarnish the Nigerian image, what is the media doing to salvage our reputation?
The second question, very interesting, and I like it too. You said that just because of all hush puppy indiscretion and fraudulent activities, that's now representing Nigeria image out there. What are the deliberate efforts media is playing to salvage that situation?
I think we just must get it right.
No.
Hush puppies incident is a one-off, and it's not the image of Nigeria. That's the truth. And moving forward, the role that social media is playing seems to accentuate that fact. But for the traditional media, we always talk responsible things about Nigeria. Of course, you will report the incident, but you do not place it on the front burner. After all, there are so many hush puppies everywhere. It's a fact. There are so many hush puppies everywhere, not only in Nigeria, even in America. Is it not conniving with Americans? It's a fact. So that cannot represent the image of Nigeria. It's not. It's
wow.
Not,
Thank you very much. That cannot represent the image of Nigeria. Wow. Thank you very much. Thanks for that response.
Good day, everyone. I am Okeralias Kofuwola by name. To our guest, thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate your presence here today. It was really an eye-opener. And her presenter to NAS TV Africa, thank you very much, sir, for the opportunity. Now to my question. Looking at the media and the youth, how can the media be of benefits to the youth in terms of bringing out our potential? You know, we have a lot of things in us that we want to exhibit, but we are not in the limelight yet. Now, how can the media help us in bringing ourselves to the limelight? How the world can get to know us, the nation and everybody at large?
This question, sir, said there's so many youth with so many potential gifts and talent that are not necessarily in music. I think that's what the lady is invalid. That's why is it that the people, the best students in physics, the best students in economics are not well celebrated like Malian in media? Why?
Well, let me give you a brief analysis for you to know what Nigeria represents. Over 67%, this is a recent research, over 67% Nigerians are youth. So the future of Nigeria seems very great. Now, do we celebrate our youth or do we celebrate them enough? That is another question entirely. Do we make ourselves relevant enough to be celebrated? Those are the issues. Let us be very honest with ourselves. If you have fantastic narrations out there to be celebrated, I can bet you will be celebrated. Not necessarily Malians. And let me be very honest with you. You need to segment between traditional media and the social media. In terms of media narrations, there are contents devoted to youth. Are we latching onto these contents? Because that's the truth. I remembered when I was the chief executive of Kwara State Broadcasting Corporation. We have so many contents devoted to youth, but we don't have quality contents from the youth themselves. Because you are the one that will come and represent your generation. Nobody will speak for you. So if we are talking about excellence, do we have enough that we want to showcase? If we talk about talent, do we have enough short of repeating ourselves? So these are all intertwined. So we must continue to seek proper narration for our youths. We must continue to engage. Just as you are asking questions, there will always be answers. So don't let us keep quiet. The future truly belongs to the youth, and there is no escape for Nigeria. We need to invest in our youths. The nation needs to invest in its youth by providing enabling environment for them to excel in their chosen field. So it's a collective responsibility, both from government and from the citizenry.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Collective effort, both from government and the citizens. That's the perfect one. That's why I always go with John F. Kennedy's statement of don't think of what your country can do for you. Always think of what you can do for your country. When you do, you will be celebrated. Are you doing enough to be celebrated? That is the challenge for the youth, for Nigeria youth, for Africa youth. Let us go back to the drawing table and do enough. Thank you. Now, we're going to go to next question. Yes, maybe this last but not the least. All right. Oh yeah, the gentleman over there. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to be part of NAS TV Africa today, and I want to especially appreciate the presenter as well as our guest speaker today. My question goes with just my colleague, just as she has asked just recently. I am kind of wondering if there is any way, if there is any mechanics, or if there is any effect the media practitioners are trying to put in place that can showcase potentials of youth to the general world, just like NAS TV Africa is doing recently. Is there, as we celebrate Nigeria at 60, is there anything that the media practitioners, and I mean especially high-profile ones like your humble self, are trying to do for youths that can actually show a lot of things we can do and offer the world at large? Thank you.
His question, as you can hear, is similar to the last question, and I said that what role will media play to help the youth in sourcing terms? That what role will the media play? Fine, you have been saying that social media has been the one playing the role, and in all honesty, social media is actually doing the job in the absence of a traditional media going digital. Now the issue is that how is traditional media upgrading itself so that they can compete effectively with unprofessional social media journalists and and influence the thought?
There is no way you can compete with someone who is not tutored. Rather, you will leave the competition to the person that is not tutored, to you, that you are a professional. There is no way the traditional media will compete with social media. No. Because in social media, it's a free-for-all scheme where professionalism is not entrenched. But in traditional media, just like you said, there are fantastic opportunities for youth to come and leverage on. Just like I told you, there are avenues, there are platforms. It depends on you, the youth, to come and latch onto those platforms and excel. It's a talents are innate in you. I can only provide you that enabling environment. And just like I said, I can infer my life's experience. There are so many opportunities that we allow. I mentor a lot of youth. I schooled them. I educate them. I encourage them. I provide them platforms for them to come and say their story, for people to benefit and to enrich themselves. Because what is the essence of your talent if it's not profitable? So that is what the platforms afford the youth. So on a continuous basis, we will continue to talk about it. Come and use the opportunities available on all these platforms. But let us be cautious in using social media. It is more of propaganda and it is more of white lies.
Thank you very much. As you can see now, please round of applause again. As you can hear now, the social media is not an avenue to actually rely on. While he's advocating that the traditional media will upgrade and continue to upgrade to digital level so that they can take away the social media lies. But notwithstanding, the platforms are there for all the youth to go and latch on. Traditional radio station, traditional TV, and so many other platforms, and like NAS TV Africa too. Come. We are providing the platform, and we are blending the 21st century and the 20th century, the conservatism, 21st century progressivism, to make the media work for Africa, for Nigeria, and for the whole world.
I think, for as an aside,
yes, sir,
we need to know that the process of digitalization has already started.
Wow.
Abuja is fully digitalized.
Wow.
Plateau State is fully digitalized.
Wow.
Kaduna State is fully digitalized.
Wow.
And I'm sure before the end of this year, Lagos State will be fully digitalized. And sorry, to Osun State is also digitalized. So I think it's a continuous process. Before, Nigeria is a big country.
Yeah.
So leveraging on our population, digitalization is very expensive. That is the truth. I am fully involved in that process. In the last 5 years that we have been setting timetables for us to move from one stage to the other, and the future belongs to digitalization.
Wow, we cannot thank you enough. Thank you very much for this information. Nigeria media world is becoming digitalized, and in no time we are going to get to that level where we have quality information from our traditional media. Thank you very much. Finally, sir, what advice do you have for the youth and our leaders, both in Nigeria and Africa? Thank you.
My advice to the youth is that they should take charge. Nigerian youth should take charge positively. The opportunities behoves on all of you as youth to do the things that are right. So my catchphrase is, do what is right, latch on onto the opportunities, and of course, greatness beckons.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate this.